They're one of my questions. When people want to hold Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch accountable, which is totally fair, they actually came out and said that after the game on Friday. But why do the Niners keep getting a free pass? If I really pin you into a corner, those of you saying that, and question you, the only thing that you can say that you mean is that they should be fired, which is absurd. Like, it's absolutely patently absurd. The idea that the 49ers would fire Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. So I'm asking to understand that when you say that, why do the Niners get a free pass? If that's not what you mean, then what do you mean? What do you mean?
I think what
Justin
you mean...
Bieber, what do you mean?
What do you mean?
Thank you.
I think what they mean is... That was my Steiny right there.
Very good.
Steiny karaoke. I think what they mean is they want them to come out and take responsibility for their actions and apologize. And what I heard...
They did.
What I heard John Lynch say in the second quarter of the broadcast between True Eye and Gun Run was that, he took accountability, he took responsibility. And Kyle Shanahan on Friday post-game, I believe he did the same thing and stuff.
John Lynch, KPIX, on the game broadcast.
Yeah, really hard day. Such a wonderful young man. We took a shot and it didn't work out. We own that. We take accountability for it. But I think, as I think you guys do, his story is still very much unwritten, and I'm excited for Trey. Dallas stepped up and really wanted him, and they came after him, and I think it's going to be a great landing spot for him. I could tell everybody it wasn't for lack of effort on Trey's part or on our part that it didn't work. Circumstances took hold, and he struggled through injuries, and this team's ready to win. And, we like our quarterback room. We like Brock Purdy a lot. We like Sam Darnold, and we like Brandon Allen. So we wish Trey all the best in Dallas, and we'll always care about that young man and admire his work ethic and the person that he is.
First of all, Niner preseason games are lit, aren't they? I mean, my gosh, it's loud out there for a game that doesn't matter, and you hadn't heard of any of the people still on the field. But outside of that, yeah, I think what you're saying is accurate. If you want an apology, you got the sports version of it. You got it. Kyle Shanahan, I let Trey down. John Lynch, really tough day. And are they paying lip service? Maybe. But who cares?
Yeah.
If you're asking for them to own it, which as Lynch said, then they did.
Yeah, we own it. And
beyond that, what is it you want to have happen?
They use the same verbiage, too, when you play some Kyle coming up here. And I know we have a ton of callers to get to, but Kyle used the same verbiage in terms of we took a chance, we took a shot, and it didn't work out. And you heard John say that on the KPIX broadcast, and you heard Kyle say that in his sound. So I know they got together to talk about what they were going to say and how they were going to say it. And it's tough because you want to thread a certain needle where you don't blame Trey Lance. And I think Kyle did a good job of that. He laid out the unfortunate circumstances of injury, the broken finger the first year in the preseason, the broken ankle in the fifth quarter of the second season. Those are all facts, but I think both of them did a good job of taking responsibility, taking blame, while not chastising Trey Lance.
Kyle was asked if he failed Trey Lance and stuff.
Was this a failure of evaluation, a failure of just circumstance? How would you characterize this move?
I mean, obviously, we took our shot and it didn't work out. So, I mean, that's on us for that. But I'm not going to say anything as in failure. That'd be too much of a negative towards Trey. I get our deal. We took a shot to go for that. We were hoping that he could be our guy, and that didn't work out. So I understand that from our standpoint, but I still do believe in Trey. And, about 3 years ago, we had the 12th pick in the draft, after that COVID year, but we thought we had a really good team. And we didn't think we'd have a chance again to get close to that top area to take a quarterback in the top 10. And when you have the 12th pick in the draft, we went into it realizing it was a risk. But we thought we weren't going to pick that high again for a couple of years. And we would never have a chance to move from 12 to 3. We tried to move up to a number of spots before that, but 3 was the first one that would do it. We looked into everything between 12 and 3. And we got that, and we took our shot, something we believed in and a person we believed in. Was hoping he could play more his first year. We knew he wouldn't come in and just take it over from Jimmy, but we were hoping to mix it in and kind of give him some experience. But once he broke the finger and stuff, it just got tougher for him as time went. We knew we'd commit to him the next year, which we did. We knew he wasn't fully ready in every aspect, but we knew he had a skill set that we could put some stuff together to give him the chance to compete and grow with a good team as he developed as a full quarterback. And he got hurt in the first quarter of the second game, which kind of set that back.
I mean, listen, the tone, you can take it at face value or not. And I fully understand either reaction to that. But I don't think there's anything you could ask Kyle Shanahan or John Lynch to say that they didn't say the other night. I know this is about actions. The action was a hot mess. It was an unbelievable, memorable move for all the wrong reasons. And there's nothing that's going to change that. But as far as how you would want the 49ers to step up to a microphone, I mean, how many people have said that to us? They got to come face it. Well, they did. There it is. They didn't duck the questions. They said it. They said all the right things.
Yeah.
I don't know what else people want to have happen next.
And he gave an explanation as to why he didn't speak to reporters. Apparently, he had a scheduled radio interview that
and stuff.
Yeah, it didn't get aired because of some baseball game and stuff. And so he thought that reporters would have gotten word that way. I don't know if you take him at face value for that or not, but that was his thinking, his rationale. So Fred was kind of thrown to the wolves accidentally when the information otherwise would have been out and stuff, but it wasn't. So I listened to him and John Lynch, and I hear two guys who, look, these are smart guys, and I think that they're both aware that they made a mistake. And it's a job where you're going to make mistakes. And I like what Kyle said in his answer that you just played about them having a chance to move up from 12 to 3. You don't normally have that opportunity.
Right.
And by the way, the two picks that they gave, so they trade their number 12 to get up to number 3 and 2 future firsts, which were number 29 and number 29. So it's not like they traded number 12, number 6, and number 4 in subsequent years. They were first-round picks at the end of the first round. Yes, number 12 hurts, and you could have gotten Micah Parsons, and you did give up first-round capital. I get that, but that was part of the calculus that they went into. And he said this was probably the only chance we were going to get to make this move, and we felt like it was a move we needed to make.
And he's right. He's right.
Because they've been good.
Yeah, they've been good. They've been good. You don't move up to number 3 from 29.
Correct.
So, yeah. Again, I think this is often the case with a lot of these people we talk about. And I know how it sounds sometimes when I say this. But when you want to talk about Shanahan or Lynch or Kapler or Farhan or Kerr or Myers or Dunleavy, like, if you were to sit down with any of them in a room and they go, okay, here's what we were thinking. Now, I know that one didn't work. This one did. That one didn't. This one did. A lot of times it doesn't work. But if they were to sit down with you, even if you're talking about a pitching change that Gabe makes, so here's what I was thinking. If you sat with them and they're like, this is what we were trying to do, you'd be like, oh, well, that makes sense. I don't think that any of these people did just like wild swings of idiotic behavior. And so on some level, we do have to ask ourselves as fans, are you going to accept some mistakes from your people or not? And I sort of look at this like, I don't know how you can't. Look at the Yankees right now. Brian Cashman, made guy, right? General manager for as long as I can remember with the New York Yankees. I don't know. Should he be fired? Do you forget the other successes that he's had? Because everything that they've touched this year has been a complete explosion of negativity. So I don't know. It's not defend them at every turn. It's not that. This was a terrible, terrible mistake. But to take that and ignore all of the good that they've achieved after taking over for a team that truly was a dumpster fire, to ignore all of that and focus only on this and the fact that they were 13-4 last year and suggest that moves should be made at that position, I don't know. That's wild to me.
It's absolutely wild. It feels to me like a golfer who makes a triple bogey on a hole and just decides to walk off the course. Even though, you're 5 under for the tournament and you're probably 2 shots off the lead, but you just had the lead and now you made a triple bogey, and it's like, I better pack it in because I made a massive mistake and put up a crooked number. And that's what this is. It's a massive mistake, but you have a good team. And Kyle said that in the cut. He said, I felt like we had a good team, and I still feel like we have a really good team. And so when you make that mistake, yeah, it hurts, but you realize that you wake up on Monday morning and you still have a really good team.
Exactly. Yeah, you're listening to 95.7 The Game. KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco, always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Let's go to the phones. Okay, Grandpa Daddy in Hayward. What are you doing? Thanks for calling.
Hey, hello, gentlemen. Thank you for taking my call. Love you guys, as always. Driving home from work. And you know what? You just played those 2 takes from Kyle and Lynch, and you know what I get from that? Contrition. People are not jefes. There's a lot of people that don't own their own company. They go to work every day, and all they can do is criticize the boss. Hey, I own the company. I get it, man. You make some calls, they don't work. The majority of the time, they do. And that's what you do, man. They don't know the pressure on people that have to make that big call. And they owned up to it. I give them credit, and I have nothing bad to say about Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. They're doing the JOB, and it's hard to do that job that they do, guys. And you know that. You guys say it all the time, man. I mean, what's your take on that? How can people criticize somebody that works and trying to do the right thing? Trey Lance, they did the best thing for him. He wanted to go, and they gave it to him.
Well, here's how the cadence usually works. Grandpa Daddy, hopefully we see you tomorrow in San Ramon.
He said he'd be there, rain or shine. Spoiler alert, leave the jacket at home,
pretty
kid.
sure it's not going to rain. Yeah. But Grandpa Daddy, thanks. Here's what I think is the habit that we've all fallen into. If you're a coach and you hitch your wagon to a top 5 quarterback, what that usually means is you're a bad team, you pick a quarterback, you go through the process. The process takes at least 2, maybe 3 years. Turns out the player's a bust, and now you're about to go into year 4, and the organization's like, we've stunk for 3 years. You put all of our resources into that guy. He's not good. We're making a change. Okay? Chicago Bears, Mitch Trubisky. We're trading up. We're getting Mitch Trubisky in a draft that housed Mahomes and Watson. We want Mitch Trubisky. We go through 3 years.
Man.
That ain't it. Trubisky goes to the Bills.
Was that Nagy, the head coach?
And gone.
Yeah.
Right? And now we're going to do Justin Fields. And if Justin Fields does not take steps, he's taken some. If he does not take more within the next year, maybe 2, I would say this team needs to be markedly improved, like a 500 team at least this year.
They're sniffing 500, right? 7-10 is 8-9.
I think they're going to be interesting, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But the point is if steps are not being made toward that being the correct move, even though he wasn't a top 5 guy, still, the point remains, you're a bad team, you go through a cycle with a QB, new coaching staff. The difference here, we've all acknowledged. In fact, many people have talked about how it was an unlucky stroke for Trey Lance. He got picked by a good team.
And he got hurt twice.
He got hurt twice. But the good team thing matters here because when people are talking about Shanahan's job, I feel it's just out of habit. You picked a top 5 QB and it didn't work. Fired.
Yep.
No.
He's the 6th longest tenured coach in the NFL right now.
That rule doesn't work in this case because you're in the midst of going to the playoffs every year.
They're good. Here are the coaches who have been around longer than Shanahan.
Ooh, let me see if I can guess. How many did you say?
There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 longer, and then he's tied for 6th with 2 other guys.
Okay, so there are,
5 more tenured coaches in the National Football League.
Okay, and you're talking about obviously with one team.
Correct.
With one team. All right, so a couple of obvious ones. Belichick and Tomlin.
Since 2000 and 2007, respectively.
Okay, Belichick and Tomlin.
6 Super Bowls for the first guy, 1 for the second.
Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll is 2010, the 4th longest tenure, and he's got a Super Bowl. There's a guy hired in 2008 and a guy hired in 2013.
You said there's 2. There's 2 more. Harbaugh.
John
Harbaugh.
hired in 2008. He's got a Super Bowl.
And you said the other one was hired when?
2013.
2013. I'm running the gamut here, and I feel like the answer would be I think is it Andy Reid?
With the Super Bowl.
Yeah, okay.
Look at you.
Yeah.
So there's a theme there.
Out of bed.
Very well done.
Thanks.
Now, there's 2 guys with whom he's tied, and this is where it becomes more topical as to what we're saying. So
Okay. 2
I
guys
mentioned
with his tied.
Belichick, he's got 6. Tomlin's got 1. Harbaugh 1. Carroll 1. Andy's got 2. Okay? They're all longer tenure than Kyle Shanahan. There are 2 other guys with whom he's tied, one of whom has a Super Bowl, Sean McVay. The other one, Sean McDermott in Buffalo.
See, I would have guessed Vrabel.
Vrabel is right behind in 2018. He doesn't have a Super Bowl either.
Correct.
Then you get to 2019, Zach Taylor to find the first head coach with a losing record. He was 2019. So he's only been around for, this will be his 5th season, I think. This will be, 19, 20, 21, 20, 23.
Okay.
5th season. The point is, if you look at the guys in Kyle Shanahan's
number 5,
thank you, neighborhood, right?
Right.
You've got McDermott, 62 and 35.
Yeah, real close.
But he's never even made it to.
Not made it to the Super Bowl.
I don't think they've made it to the conference championship, have they?
I don't think so, but it feels like they have because when they play the Chiefs, it feels like the conference
5
championship.
playoff berths, and he's 4 and 5 in the offs. McVay, Super Bowl 7 and 3 in the playoffs. He's got a winning record. Kyle's 52 and 46, 3 playoff berths, and obviously 1 trip to the Super Bowl. So if you're going to get into this conversation, you have to look at his colleagues of McDermott, McVay, Vrabel, and then I guess Zach Taylor would be the next closest one. And none of these guys are under any hot seat.
No hot seat at all.
Bills made the conference championship, the end of the 2020 season.
Oh, they did.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was that
lost
weird,
to Kansas City.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you.
weird, forgettable year. But the one thing about this is McDermott's got his quarterback. McVay doesn't, but he's got a Super Bowl.
No, I mean McVay. He's on the way out, but he's got his guy.
I guess you're right
he's
there.
got his guy.
Tennessee, it's a little bit of a question mark, but
transitioning.
And then Zach Taylor's got his guy.
Got his guy.
When you think about these other coaches who have been around as long, Kyle is. I mean, why would he be on the hot seat, a hotter seat than Zach Taylor?
It's like I said, it's habit.
Yeah,
it's just habit. That's all you are submitting to habit. Pick top 5 QB. You were wrong. You get fired. Well, that doesn't apply here. It just doesn't. And that's beyond fair. So none of this is to say you're not allowed to criticize.
Right.
None of this is to say you're not allowed to be mad. None of this is to say that you're not allowed to point things out. And I think that they're aware of that. You heard that in their comments. They own it. They feel like they let Trey down. It was a huge mistake. Nobody's getting around that. But to immediately transfer that to talking about job status, in my opinion, is lazy. It's just lazy. Because no one that's not where you go when someone's 13-4 and a Super Bowl favorite. And again, I'll point out, not one person who's talked to us about Kyle Shanahan's job has brought up who is you'd rather have in here.
Right.
Give me one name. Can you even think of someone? Don't joke Lincoln Riley. Like, for real.
I mean, Lucas is not in, but
for real,
is
on. There a name that even mildly interests you other than Kyle Shanahan to coach the 49ers?
I mean, I could throw names out, but they'd either be jokes, guesses, or names to just piss you off.
Okay, like for real, anyone.
Eric Bieniemy.
Okay, all right.
I mean, Kellen Moore. I mean, I can just randomize. The answer is there's no one.
None.
There's no one.
Dan Campbell.
The fighting Campbells.
Get some kneecaps going up in here. Bite each other. Be awesome.
I think the interesting thing in this conversation, like if I said Matt LaFleur, hot seat or not seat for Matt LaFleur, He's probably on a hotter seat than he should be, considering he's 47-19 as a coach since they've been there. His winning percentage is .712, yet if Jordan Love doesn't work out, all of a sudden now
I wonder.
He's
I
at
don't
what
know.
kind of spot is he in off an 8-9 year?
Well, that's the thing.
It happens quickly, is all I'm saying.
It's not. It's the thing that that none of us really want to get. I mean, why is McDermott such a great coach? Why?
Because he has a great quarterback.
Thank you. Why did Andy Reid finally get over the top?
He's got Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, yeah. Like, I'm not saying.
But I think to that same point,
I'm not saying
though,
they're not great coaches. Tomlin has, like, always got a winning record. They're great coaches, but let's be real here. How many has Tomlin won without Roethlisberger? Okay? Belichick, how many has he won without Brady?
Yeah, 0-0, I think, are the answers to that.
That's correct.
Well, that, I think, goes to the fire Kyle Shanahan camp, though, because if Brock Purdy isn't the guy, then that's, 7 or 8 years without Kyle Shanahan finding a quarterback.
And that is completely a fair conversation. I just think it's a harder one to have when you're in the midst of going to the conference title game every year.
Yeah, it's premature right now, for sure.
Sure.
For sure.
Ian in San Pablo. Hey, Ian, you're on with Willard and Dibs. What you doing?
Hey, doing well. Just watching my little girl after her daycare.
Nice.
I was trying to answer how are people feeling about Kyle Shanahan? I don't think about getting fired, but at least, getting punished somehow. And so going back through the audio of Kyle today or yesterday on the press conference, going from the feeling of that draft pick, so excited about Trey, and then Kyle announcing him as a starter. And in press conferences, he can be flexible with the truth, more so or less so everyone has to in those press conferences. And, sometimes saying Trey looks good. So, the punishment of missing that draft pick usually is that you have a hole at quarterback where you're spending a lot at that quarterback, and they had this great move to Mulligan with Purdy. But, from your feelings, it's hard to account for that gap. And there's this punishment that never happened that you usually see. But also, of course, Kyle has the team looking great. So just kind of that feeling that you get there is what I wanted to try to articulate. Even though I'm really happy with the move, I was surprised they got a 4th-round draft pick for him. And we made Cap available for Bosa, which is hopefully going to get the signature soon.
Yeah, I mean, Ian, it sounds to me like you're simply talking about disappointment, and that's fair. I mean, when the Niners are going up to number 3 in the draft, they're never there. They've been good. So this was all kinds of excitement, and that's completely fair. It's funny though when he used the word punishment. I thought that I don't. Is he supposed to go do up downs?
I was thinking push-ups.
Yeah, like what? And that's not
Gassers.
what he meant. But it started
Run
down
a lap,
that road.
as you would like to say.
Big lap, go. Oh, my gosh. Me and my high school friends, there's still a PTSD when I say that. That was our basketball coach junior year.
What was the big lap?
San Mateo High School is a big, huge city block out there in Delaware.
Gotcha.
In San Mateo, and you had to, round it wasn't head out to the street, but you had to round the majority of the entire school, and it was usually punitive. We did not do Big Lap Go because no one was doing anything wrong.
Sure.
Big Lap Go was somebody went the wrong direction on the weave. Big Lap Go. And it was we're crying out.
You trade 3 first-round picks to trade up for a guy you can't play. It's Big Lap Go.
Big Lap Go, yeah. So we could go to practice this week and be like, Kyle, Big Lap Go. And he could run around the entire complex if y'all want.
I'm thinking Tasman to Great America Parkway, swing a left all the way around every roller coaster and double back.
And then get on the roller coaster until you puke.
Big Yak Go.
Thank you. Then you can come back and coach the team and we'll
Thank
move
you.
on. Okay?